Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and I've got another Destiny 2 video for you guys, this time going over 5 weapons that were old favorites and are now rising back to the top with Season of the Witch. They're all very good in their own right, and they shine in various places in the game. I also have a few bonuses for you guys as well, so I'll get into that in just a little bit. But let's start right from the beginning with Firefight. This is an old craftable weapon that I think is one of the more versatile weapons in the game right now. It's good in PvP, it's good in PvE. You can craft it so you can throw on osmosis or a couple other options to really make this shine in a wide variety of builds. And that's one of the reasons I really like this thing, and I think a lot of folks should be using it in their builds. I know other ARs have replaced it as the primary slot in the past, but with the builds really focusing on synergy of your energy type, that really benefits a lot of builds these days. It is one of the keys to finding a versatile weapon, is finding something that fits into a loadout, no matter what energy type or super subclass, whatever you're running, does not matter. You can throw this in no matter what, and it's going to shine. So I really like that a lot, and it's one of the reasons why I'll probably keep running this in a lot of my different builds that you're going to see. This is, like I said, good across PvE and PvP. The next weapon is primarily a PvP weapon, Ace of Spades. This has really started to shine with this season. It's become one of the more dominant weapons in the sandbox. You're seeing it in the usage rates on things like trials and whatnot. It's shooting to the top, and it is really coming back. I know a lot of people excitement about Kate 6 coming back, hand cannons being meta again, and overall this is probably the best feeling hand cannon in the entirety of the game, and that's why you're going to see a lot of usage, more so on PC from what I've seen than on console. But even on console, this thing absolutely slaps. If you're a fan of hand cannons, you want to bust out an old favorite, this is the one to do so. And I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a lot of fun to use if you enjoy using hand cannons. Funny enough, this thing is actually not so bad in PvE as well, with the changes to hand cannons, the buff to miners in PvE content. I would check this out. I know there's other options that are going to get a lot of the shine, but this is one that surprisingly can do well with Firefly and some of the other options. So just try it out, see how it feels to you. If it's one of those weapons that you just never want to take off, this might be an option in some of your PvE builds, especially because you don't really need a exotic in the heavy slot or anything like that these days. So jumping on down, we have Royal Executioner. This thing is tremendous. I remember when Reservoir Burst was first in the game, and it absolutely was one of my favorite perks. Now you can do the same thing with Royal Executioner that you can with other Reservoir Burst options, but you also have Envious Assassin. This allows you to essentially overload your magazine. You can get up to something like 15 rounds in the magazine, and all of them above the normal mag of 8 are going to be Reservoir Burst options. So it doesn't really do a ton of damage against bosses and like majors or anything like that compared to some other options like a Cartesian coordinate or your Merciless or something like that. But for ad clear, this thing is absolutely tremendous, and with the seasonal activities being focused on more ad density, it just is very satisfying to see all of those explosions. You can swap this over to something like a different perk there, like Incandescent if you want to, but just the consistent Reservoir Burst is just better to me in my personal opinion. Next up, we have Sunshot. This is another one that is very versatile. This can be used in PvE or PvP, but primarily in PvE. This is one of the reasons why, if you're running an exotic, this is why you might not see Ace of Spades and why Royal Executioner might get overshadowed a little bit, because this thing slaps. It's so good right now, and you just one-shot pretty much every red bar in the game, and so because of that, there's just explosions everywhere. It's so satisfying to see, and I think this is one of those weapons that is just going to be phenomenal for the time being. It works very well in solar builds. It can be used in pretty much any build these days, and if you're really focused on ad clear and you have something here in these other 2 slots that can really do high DPS, then you don't have to worry about anything other than just add clear with your Sunshot. You never have to change weapons. It's very nice. I do like it quite a bit, and I would highly recommend people chase or try this out if you haven't already, because it's kind of hilarious, to be honest. Next up, we have the Ammit AR2. This thing is phenomenal in PvP right now. It's probably one of the best weapons besides some of the hand cannons. And if you're not a hand cannon person, this one, you can see I have 666 enemies defeated as well. That's very nice. But yeah, this thing is really good. I highly recommend using it. I've been using this for a long time. Weapon level 41, so it's one of my old favorites that I am very happy to see back around in the meta, because I think as an AR, it's just solid all around. It doesn't shine anywhere. It's not overbearing or anything like that, so it's not a weapon you're going to get super frustrated when you get killed by it, especially when it's roughly competitive with hand cannons. It doesn't overshadow them or anything like that, so that's why I'm very happy to see this one back around. And this is another one though, if you want to, you can throw this on, you can keep rocking this in PvP and still do very, very well, or PvE, apologies, because of incandescent and some other perks that you can toss on here. It can be very, very good, so I would highly recommend trying that out. The build that I have on this, the perks stats for all and incandescent, is actually more of a PvE build, but it does work and it gets the job done still in PvP as well. So keep that in mind. And yeah, this one is one that is absolutely getting a lot of love right now, and I won't be surprised if way more people are using it. Now, as far as the honorable mentions, something I wanted to talk about, these here, the old exotic machine guns that, and you can throw in Thunderlord and stuff like that as well, but these ones are ones that haven't been used in a while. I know Deterministic Chaos is not that old, but it's one that's quickly forgotten, and I think it's better than people realize right now. Same thing with Heir Apparent is absolutely phenomenal. You can melt things with this. It's crazy. Grand Overture is very good. This got a buff recently. All of these, especially with this season, you see in the artifact perks that you do have overload machine guns. Same thing with fusion rifles, unstop fusion, so you can toss those into builds and really take out champions very easily. And that's why you may not want to use a exotic slot on any of these if it's not really your jam. But for me personally, I like all of them, and I'm glad to see that I think they are viable in a lot of different content, and I would absolutely try them out if you have not already, just to see if they fit your playstyle, if they work with your builds and all that kind of stuff. If you're on Titan like me, you can throw on Actium War Rig, and they're going to be even better, especially if you're running one of these ARs anyway. Yeah, so overall, those are a bunch of weapons that I think you should pull back out of your vault. You should check them out, try them out if you have not already. They are really going to be very good this season, and I'm excited to see what else really shines, because it feels like the meta is as wide open as we've seen it in a long time across PvP and PvP and PvE. So keep that in mind. I'm very excited about that. I love when there's a variety of different options. Anyway, my name is JoPa. I hope you have a good one. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more Destiny 2 content from me going forward. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.